Hello everyone, this is Ajay. Let's discuss the monolithic Linux kernel. A monolithic kernel is operating system architecture where entire OS is working on kernel space and its alone supervisor mode. It's alone define a high level virtual interface over computer hardware, and a kernel takes place almost all OS and also its use abstraction and layered approach. A modern monolithic operating system such as OpenMS Linux, BSD and Unix variants such as Sun OS and AIX in addition to Multics can dynamically load executable model at runtime in monolithic kernel system, and this modularity at the binary level, not a architecture level. Monolithic Linux dynamically load executable model at runtime, and its architecture of monolithic OS. The upper space application or library, this is a user space. It deals with the system call interface, and is also system call interface. It deals with the memory management, interprocess communication, file system, IO management and network. System call is a system call is a relationship between API and OS. Monolithic OS kernel architecture is difficult to isolate the source of bug and other errors further because all code executed within unrestricted mode. In this architecture, system call may pass through many layers. These are the layers. The layer 0 presents process allocation and process scheduling. The layer 1 is memory management. Layer 2 also message interpreter. Layer 3 IO management, and layer 4 is user application, that is user face. Up to the 0 to 3 is a kernel space, and last layer 4 is a user space. Layer 0 provide basic multiprogram to CPU. This is a process allocation and process scheduling. In memory management, this is the layer 1 where did the memory management. It's allocated space for main memory, and layer 1 software are took care of making sure their pages were brought into the memory or not. Layer 2 is the message interpreter, where layer 2 handles communication between process and operator console. And layer 3 is IO management. Layer 3 takes care of IO device and buffering. And the above 3 layer, each process could deals with abstract IO device within the browser. So this is the comparison between monolithic kernel and microkernel. The monolithic kernel is much older than microkernel. The idea was conceived in 1980, and the second is used in the monolithic in Linux, and microkernel is used in QNX L4, and the monolithic is used in Unix and Linux. And the efficiency of monolithic architecture, the monolithic are more faster than the microkernel, so it's 50% faster than monolithic kernel. The monolithic kernel is generally bulky, and spare microkernel is small in a size than monolithic kernel, and the driver resides in monolithic kernel. The device drivers reside in the kernel space microkernel, and device driver reside in user space in monolithic kernel also. So this is the disadvantage of monolithic Linux kernel. It's lots of dependencies there, because to construct the object model program of the OS, this approach used one first compile all the individual processor and then bind them all together into a single executable file using the system linker, where every one procedure can see every other procedure in this monolithic Linux kernel. In this architecture, it's totally divided into three models: main procedure, service procedure and utility procedure. The main program that invokes requested service procedure, and the set of procedure that carry out the system call, and a set of utility procedure that help the service in this procedure. These are the three structure models of the monolithic Linux kernel. The size of the monolithic kernel is big than other kernels. So main disadvantage is hard to maintain, because a bug in a device driver might crash the entire system, and that fact that large kernel can very difficult to maintain in the monolithic kernel. So that's it guys. Thank you.